So, welcome once again to Tenkin. So, this is where I'm just going to talk about and show you the kind of workflow that we use to go from an app idea to something concrete. And I hope this is helpful for you. There's lots and lots of different ways of doing it. So, this is just our way. So, I think the first step is your idea. Ideas can be generated from lots of different things. For example, I was just visiting my dad just there, my mum and dad, and my dad's an artist, loves doing art and stuff, and we were just chatting about something that might be useful for him, and an idea was born there and then. So the next step of that is to flesh out the tool itself, whatever you're creating, or the app, and there's several ways to do that. So you can just kind of have a conversation with like ChatGPT or Claude or something like that to get that fleshed out into what you want. Or we built our own tool. So we have our own tool which acts like a product manager and basically takes that and creates a proper product spec. So then we take this product spec and we across here and we build that. So you can use Livable, which is really good for doing this quickly. But of course, there's credits and Lovables, like I've said in the previous video, there's some problems with Lovable. So for us, we needed to find a more robust sort of alternative to that. We still have credits and things with Lovable, and we'll still use the platform, but we've downgraded it a lot because, reliability is so important, and I can't be waiting for the AI to respond or dealing with the errors or all the kind of hang-ups that have recently come in with Lovable due to the rapid expansion. So typically now our workflow is really going into build that minimum viable product, which is MVP, with Google AI Studio. So really play with it, several iterations to get it roughly to where you want. You want to be cautious about adding databases and logins at this stage because that can actually muddy the waters for transferring wherever you're taking it. And then from there, you want to create a Git repository. So we use GitHub. There's different ones available. GitHub's been brilliant. So you create that Git repo and you upload it. So that is, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the code that you've created for your minimal viable product through, say, Google AI Studio. You're uploading that then to the cloud to Git. And this is where it's really important because any changes are put there, but you can also revert changes, you can have branches off, so you can have your app look differently and go, you know what, that really works, so I'm going to make that the main branch. Or we can say, you know what, that doesn't work. And it's just a great way for multiple people to work on the same project, but also means that if you have an issue, say you upload something and you've created a massive bug, you can roll back really quickly. And that's critical in kind of software for users to ensure we keep that experience, and if there is a fault, we deal with it quickly. So now with our new sort of bit, we're using Replit, so we generate the new app in Replit from the Git clone. It's not free, okay? So this is why you want to be really a bit cautious about how much you're doing in your Google AI Studio, because there's a cost to converting that. So the more complex your little MVP is to see how it's going to work, the greater that cost will be in Replit. Now, you do get credits to start with, and Replit's really good because it tells you exactly how much it costs. But for a small app, you're talking about $3 or $4. Start adding databases and stuff in, and you can go up to about $20. So really cautious of that. Get a nice small bit on there and get it on there, and then you sync it, the Replit changes back to your Git. Now, in our workflow, this is where Google Anti-Gravity comes in. You've used loads of different tools, like Cursor, for example, great tool. There's lots out there that you can use. But Google Anti-Gravity, I find now, at present, is the best solution. But just be aware, these solutions change. They overtake each other. So, and whatever you're used to. So, whatever tool you're using, this is where you want to properly build it out. And the reason that you want to use something like Anti-Gravity or Cursor is that you're doing it within that monthly fee. So you're not costing a fortune of Lovable credits or Replit credits. You're keeping the costs down. Once you've got that bit to where you want, you then sync that to Replit. So you're firing it up to Replit. And then in Replit console itself is where you can start to look at the preview, so you can look at the changes that have happened, make sure it all works. One of the things I love about Replit is you've got a development database. So before you publish your app, it's sitting on a development database. When you publish it, it creates that production database, and they're both separate. The production database is what your users are using, and the development is what you're using for development. So the great thing about that is if you smash the database or cause a problem, you're not affecting your users. And it's happened. We've had that happen before in previous workloads ages ago, where it tanked the database, and at that point it was unrecoverable because our workflow wasn't right for what we were trying to do. So in Replit, you can then publish your app. Fairly straightforward. It provides a domain for you, but we normally buy sort of domains and subdomains to keep the kind of continuity of our apps and our products. So you add that domain into Replit, and then for us, the workflow is then we set that up in Cloudflare, so that allows us to have storage linked to that domain name. It's a prerequisite to get your storage bucket set up, but also means that you're getting the kind of real advantages of Cloudflare, of that kind of caching, making it faster wherever people are, the security aspects that come with it, and real dynamic upgradability. So if your user demand suddenly spikes, for some reason you become viral, then these sort of things really help. And then it's refine and repeat. So I think it really encourages you to look at, right, what are the bugs that are coming out. I find Replit's really good because it consults in the builds. It consults it calls it the architect, and it does its own testing. So that's brilliant. But also Google Anti-Gravity can do its own testing. It can take control of a Chrome browser and properly test the app for you as well. So bear in mind, you want to find these bugs, and there's normally going to be bugs. It's the reality of software. You fix something, you introduce a bug. So it's about understanding that process to be able to fix that. But also then, this is the refine repeat is where you're probably going to be adding your features. So you might add a feature, and be cautious about adding too much at once. Just think about adding a little feature, whatever that might be, so it's manageable, and then go through that process again. And then you keep doing that till you've got your app to where you want it to go. And the main thing is, once you've got it ready in there, don't touch it. That's when you really want to build distribution. And that's the important thing, is if we keep building, and it's easy to do because I love building stuff, is get out of that mode of, right, now we're at the stage, it's done. We've got our app, we've got our MVP, now it has to be released and distributed. And that in itself is a separate workflow that we'll cover in another video. So anyway, thanks for having a watch. This is, I'm Simon from Tenkin, and I hope you enjoy your experience, and please feedback. Please let us know how you get on. Anyway, cheers.